Kicking things off at number 10, Justin Bieber. After what seemed to have been a long week and high-stress situations, Justin seemed to have lost his cool at his show in Oslo back in 2015. Not too long into his concert, Justin approached the front of the stage to take a moment to wipe up some water that had been spilled. Obviously, being a performer, it would not have been safe to keep a wet floor for the duration of the concert, so he took a moment to mop up the spill. But as he started cleaning, fans at the front of the stage started grabbing and touching Justin's feet and legs. I think to anyone, having strangers grabbing at you would be seriously uncomfortable. Justin told fans to stop multiple times as he tried cleaning up the spill, but they just wouldn't. Angered, Justin threw in the towel, literally, and stormed off the stage saying, quote, "I'm done, I'm not doing the show." Justin ended his concert just one song in, and this left fans shocked and upset. But I mean, to be fair, he asked you not to touch him and you didn't listen, so that's on you guys. At number 10, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is for the most part pretty chill, wholesome, and unproblematic, so it's definitely something pretty weird when she gets mad. Well, in one of the few occasions where we see this happen, Taylor gets visibly frustrated with an interviewer while walking the red carpet at the Grammys in 2015.
You're going to walk home with more than maybe just a trophy tonight. I think lots of men. Maybe just a trophy tonight. I think lots of men.
I'm not going to walk home with any men tonight. I'm going to...
The interviewer asked the camera to get a shot of Taylor's legs in her dress, then goes on to make a comment saying, quote, "I just wanted to show the legs because as I was telling you ahead of time, I think you're going to walk home with more than just a trophy tonight. I think lots of men." End quote. Ew. Don't go around assuming people are going home with people. That's just what? Ew. Clearly angered by the interviewer's comment, Taylor replies with, quote, "I'm not going to walk home with any men tonight. I'm going to hang out with my friends and then I go home to the cats. Men get me in trouble." The only explanation I have for this is that the interviewer just looking for Taylor's next heartbreak so she can get a new album out of it. At number 10, Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin makes people mad. I know it's kind of a bold statement, but it's also kind of true. He's been in a few scandals where he's offended people and has also had some run-ins with people like paparazzi and reporters that leave them with a poor impression of the actor. But he can also be on the receiving end of anger, and that is what happened when he was on the phone with his daughter. In 2007, Alec was on the phone with his then 11-year-old daughter. Well, he was talking to the voicemail, actually. You see, when his daughter didn't pick up, Alec got mad because he took the time out of his day to schedule a call with his daughter. So when she didn't answer, he berated her voicemail. The recording, which was leaked and exposed him for his temper, included moments where the actor called his daughter a, quote, "rude, thoughtless little pig." He also went on to say, quote, "You don't have the brains or decency as a human being. I don't give a damn that you're 12 years old or 11 years old or that you're a child or that your mother is a thoughtless pain in the ass who doesn't care what you do as far as I'm concerned. Once again, I've made an ass of myself trying to get to a phone. You have humiliated me for the last time with this phone." Jeez, talk about anger. Coming in at number 9, Halle Barry. Back in 2013, Halle Berry and her then fiance Olivier and their daughter Nala were returning from a family vacation when they were swarmed at LAX. The family was heading to their SUV when photographers and journalists started following and swarming them. As captured by TMZ, Halle and her family ran away from the paparazzi while she screamed at them for getting too close to them and her child. Halle yelled, quote, "Get away, there's a child, you idiots," and asked them, quote, "What is wrong with you people?" As they were blinded by the flashing lights of the cameras, bodyguards pushed through the crowd of photographers to get the family to their car, but as they got there and put their daughter in the car, Halle's fiance turned around to try and fight the paparazzi before being talked down by the actress. I honestly feel so bad for them in this situation. All they were trying to do was return home from their vacation and were bombarded by people trying to get a picture of them and even the kid. It must have been very scary for that kid too. At number 9, Iggy Azalea. You know, sometimes stars are busy. Celebrities don't always have time to greet and shake the hands of all of their fans, so you can't really get mad at them for it. You know, they got other stuff to do. Though this doesn't stop many fans from booing their favorite celebs, and this is exactly what happened with Iggy Azalea. As Iggy was walking into a building, her fans were waiting for her to greet them, but as she walked right past them, the fans got mad and started booing the singer. So uncalled for. Iggy wasn't too impressed either, so in retaliation she flipped them the bird and carried on with her day. There's no reason for these people to be booing. If she's busy, then she's busy, and you have to accept that. There's no need to get mad. Do you guys think Iggy was right to flip them off, or was she a little out of line? Let me know in the comments. If you guys are enjoying the video so far, please feel free to give it a big old thumbs up. We love getting your feedback, and your likes really help our channel grow, so please consider giving us a like. At number 9, Shia Lebeouf. Shia Lebeouf is something else. Recently, he was exposed for allegedly hurting his ex-girlfriend, FKA Twigs, on a physical and emotional level, but this isn't the first time his actions have been called out. He's had scandals about lying, racism, and presence in the media, but has also faced scrutiny for a freakout that he once had at a bowling alley in 2017. According to those who were there, Shia was at a bar at a bowling alley getting a little irresponsible with his drinks and started yelling at workers there. Shia was getting mad because he really just wanted French fries and the worker refused to serve him. Because this refusal angered him so much, he began going on a rant about how the server's actions were racist against him. How? No one really knows. He was eventually escorted out of the establishment and the police were called to handle the situation, but everything was caught on camera and boy was he angry. In at 8, Robert Downey Jr. During the press tour for Avengers Age of Ultron, RDJ sat down with Channel 4 reporter Krishnan Guru Murthy for an interview that soon turned sour. In the interview, Krishnan asked Downey what seemed to have been an offensive question when he said, quote, "The reason I'm asking you about your past is you've talked in other interviews about your relationship with your father and the role in all of that of the dark periods you went through, taking drugs and drinking and all that. I just wondered whether you think you're free of that or whether that's something ... And then that's as far as he got. RDJ cut him off mid-sentence and asked, "What are we doing? Are we promoting a movie?" He looked at, I'm guessing, his manager or publicist who gave him the okay, and then he got up and stormed out of the interview. Robert has had a tumultuous past and it's honestly within his rights to avoid being asked about it, so obviously the interviewer struck a nerve. He later went on to call the interviewer a bottom-feeding muckraker, whatever that means. Note to self, never ask about RDJ's past. At number 8, Halle Barry. Have you ever had a friend say a joke to you or about you that was super uncalled for and kinda mean? If you have, then you know it kinda sucks. Now imagine if someone said a hurtful joke about you to an audience of people on live TV. Even more sucky. This happened to Halle Berry after Howie Mandel cracked a joke that went a little too far as it referenced a highly publicized hit-and-run accident involving the actress.
Right.
Well, you know, you can joke about it, just don't do it to my face, dude, you know?
I didn't see you.
That's hard to take. Tell all the jokes you want, but to do it in somebody's face is very disrespectful.
And such a
That's
face.
all.
Howie made this joke just before Halle came out, and so as she was finally announced and came to sit with them, she had to clear the air about that joke. Clearly hurt, she tells Howie that he shouldn't be making jokes like that to someone's face, and doing something like that is very disrespectful. You can kind of see on Halle's face that she was not impressed with Howie and was a little hurt by it as well. He did end up apologizing for his actions, but I'm sure this still rubbed the actress the wrong way. At number 8, Lily Reinhart. The internet can sometimes be a difficult place to be. Having strangers online sending you hate and negativity for who knows what reason can certainly take a toll on you and your mental health. Trust me, I know. So when you see a friend or loved one being bullied online, you want to step up and say something about it. And that's exactly what Riverdale actress Lily Reinhart did to defend her now ex-boyfriend Cole Sprouse. In May of last year, Lily took to Twitter to go on an angry rant about how poorly people were treating others online. Because Cole was facing backlash in the hashtag Cole Sprouse is over party, Lily had some words to share with her followers. In some of her now deleted tweets, she said things like, quote, "Twitter is such a vile place. It is so easy to say things behind your phone, isn't it? This is why people don't have social media, because of this bullying." End quote. "I refuse to keep my mouth shut about things like this. You have no idea how destructive this can be to someone, to anyone. It's abusive." End quote. There were a few expletives in the tweets that I left out for YouTube purposes, but I think you get it. She was pretty mad. Number 7, Courtney Kardashian. Celebrity parents are certainly not afraid to fight the paparazzi when it comes to protecting their kids, and the same goes for Courtney Kardashian. While out with her daughter Penelope, paparazzi swarmed the Kardashian and her kid, and while photographers were told to stay away from the mother and child, they just wouldn't stop. They kept following the pair and taking pictures and asking questions, even going so far as to make the kid cry out of fear. Courtney said to one of the photographers to never talk to her while she was with her kids, but as paparazzis do, they don't listen, and they continue to bombard her with pictures and more questions. Courtney, obviously fed up with the photographer, tells them to shut the F up. If a celebrity wants you to leave them alone, just do it, especially when they're with their kids. At number 7, Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy is a pretty chill guy. He's never really causing problems in the media, and he seems like a genuinely laid-back guy. But it seems like if you ask him a stupid question, he won't hesitate to clap back. In one instance where an interviewer clearly made Tom a little angry, he was being asked about his sexuality during a press conference at the Toronto International Film Festival. The journalist asked Tom if he thought other celebrities have a hard time embracing their sexuality in the media. Why this question? I don't know, and Tom didn't really know either. You could tell that he was a little taken aback and frustrated with this question, as it didn't seem to have much to do with anything, so he asked to clarify this question.
Are you asking me about my sexuality?
Sure.
Why?
Why?
Thank you.
Okay.
When he asked the reporter if they were asking about his own sexuality and replied, "Sure," he answered back with, "Why?" and then gave up and moved on to someone else's question. I mean, I can't say I blame him since it was a pretty irrelevant question to begin with, so yeah, I can see why that would make him a little mad. At number 7, Andrew Garfield. I can't say that I know much about Andrew Garfield, other than the fact that he's British and was Spider-Man for a while there. But from what I've seen of him, he looks like a pretty laid back and chill dude, so to see him getting really angry is kind of weird to watch. There isn't too much footage of Andrew getting visibly upset, but this one clip of him and Emma Stone trying to get through paparazzi does come to mind.
Whoa, whoa! I didn't walk in the front of the car. Come on.
In the clip, we see Andrew getting out of Emma's car and trying to lead her through the crowd of photographers, and he looks really mad. Every time he would get back into the car, they would just crowd around it again, just adding to Andrew's fury. It's really frustrating to watch because these paparazzi just don't like to listen. But then they also get surprised and defensive when a celebrity gets mad at them. Like, what did you expect? A thank you note? Man, now Andrew's got me mad about it. Luckily, they were able to get away from them without getting into an accident, but man, he must have been fuming on the car ride home. Coming in at number 6, Kanye West. This list wouldn't be complete without Kanye West, am I right? Though he is very well known for his artistry, he is also known for being easily provoked and a bit of a hothead too, though he always has his reasons for his outbursts. One instance of Kanye getting angry comes from a fight that he had with paparazzi at LAX. Paparazzi met the rapper at the airport trying to get some comments from him, and when Kanye refused to speak to them, that's when things got intense. Even though Kanye told the photographers that he didn't want to get into a fight, that's exactly what happened. Turns out that one of the paparazzi provoked him, and this led to Kanye attacking him and putting him into a headlock while they struggled for the man's camera. Kanye has sort of had a reputation for attacking paparazzi, so this incident wasn't really all that surprising, but it still shows how angry he can get. At number 6, Rihanna. Rihanna is one of those celebrities who you often see getting upset. There have been a number of videos showing her hitting fans with microphones, or yelling at paparazzi, or even shoving fans out of the way without a second thought. But this instance of Rihanna getting mad at a journalist is something a little different than some other cases. As some may know, Rihanna doesn't really like talking about her love life, and she hates it when people ask her about it, so you'd expect a question like that to strike a nerve, and it did.
Just wondered if you are as happy in your private life, and will we be seeing a certain Mr. Ashton Kutcher perhaps making a trip over here?
Wow, how disappointing was that question?
Should we move on to another one?
Absolutely.
While the interviewer was in the middle of asking the singer about her love life and actor Ashton Kutcher, you can watch the expression on her face as she becomes pretty annoyed with the reporter. Obviously she was upset because you could clearly see it on her face as she called what the reporter was asking a disappointing question. She moved on to a new question without missing a beat, so that just shows that you don't mess with Riri. At number 6, Paris Hilton. I think out of most celebrities out there, Paris Hilton is one of the most misunderstood. For years, all people saw was a privileged girl who had more money than she knew what to do with, and whenever she was in the news for something negative, people would think that she deserved it because she needed to be humbled or something. After her YouTube documentary came out about her real life, people's opinions changed, and now we see her in a different light. In 2011, Paris did an interview where she tried to talk about her reality show, and things just weren't going well. When trying to steer the conversation towards the show, the host sort of just laughed and brushed it off as her being a diva.
I've worked for everything that I've achieved on my own. So I feel very blessed. I thank God every day.
Now, worked in what way?
If you really watch the whole interview, these guys really just sound like jerks, so I can't really blame Paris for getting mad and annoyed. Years later, she's come out to talk about how angry that interview made her and how disgusted she was with the hosts, and again, can't really blame her. Halfway through at number 5, Adele. This incident comes from Fair Verona, where we lay our scene. Back in 2016, Adele got a little frustrated while performing at a concert in Italy. During the show, Adele singled out a woman from the audience because she was filming Adele's show. And not just to say, let me capture this on my Insta story filming, I mean complete with video camera filming. Adele spoke directly to the woman from the stage saying, quote, "Could you stop filming me with that video camera because I'm really here in real life. You can enjoy it in real life rather than through your camera. This isn't a DVD, this is a real show," end quote. I mean, Adele does have a point. This woman paid to watch the show, so she's not really enjoying it to the fullest while recording. Also, I don't know if she's actually allowed to record the show to begin with. I think that would be considered pirating. I know that you can't film Broadway musicals because it's illegal, but I'm not sure if the same goes for concerts. Either way, I know that Adele takes pride in her concerts, so seeing someone disregard that must have angered her quite a bit. Halfway through at number 5, Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande doesn't really strike me as the type of person to really get that mad, but following her time on a radio interview, I'd say I've sort of been proven wrong. If Ariana feels like she's been disrespected, she's gonna clap back. During the radio interview, Ariana was asked if she had to either use makeup or her phone one last time, which one would she choose? As if this was such a pressing decision for her to make. Instead of answering the question, the singer claps back by asking, quote, "Is this really what you think girls have trouble choosing between?" To which one of the radio hosts replies, "Yes." Then they follow into a debate over if Ariana can actually live without these things, and they get into a bit of an argument.
Question, can you really go anywhere without your cell phone?
Yes.
How long can you go without looking at Twitter?
Many hours.
Ladies, learn. Yeah. Listen and learn, ladies.
Boys, learn.
Oh, excuse me.
Come on.
I think what really just made her mad was at the fact that these guys assume that all girls are obsessed with their phones and makeup, which is all kinds of incorrect. But you know, Ariana just threw it back at them, being like, boys do the same thing, getting distracted by their stuff, so don't put this all on the ladies. You tell them, Ariana. At number 5, Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is one of Hollywood's most hated celebrities. He's been in so many scandals surrounding his words and actions, it's pretty insane. He's faced backlash for anti-Semitism and racism and sexism and just really a lot of hate and negativity. He's also been exposed for a few rants, one of them being about his ex-partner Oksana Grigorova. In a lead conversation between the two, Mel is heard getting really mad at Oksana because of the way she dresses.
"I don't walk around in tight clothes. I stay at home for most of the time.
Public and it's a embarrassment to me. You look like a on heat, and if you get packed, it's your fault."
He was saying a lot of hurtful and mean things to her, calling her horrible names and saying that if she were to be violated in some way, it would be her fault for dressing that way. I can't even begin to articulate how repulsive that is, but oh my god. To be on the receiving end of such a hurtful rant must have been so horrible. Mel always seems to be mad about something, or he's always hurting someone or offending someone, but really, he needs to reel it in a bit. And at 4, Akon. Rapper Akon once got so mad at a fan that he threw him off stage. And I don't mean he was escorted from the venue. I mean he literally picked someone up and threw them. The whole incident went down in 2007 at one of his performances at Dutchess Stadium. A 15-year-old fan threw an object at Akon from the audience, and this made him really upset. He had people bring the kid up on stage just for Akon to pick him up and chuck him off it. The incident was captured on video and was uploaded to YouTube, and I have to say, it's pretty shocking, but also just a little bit funny though. I mean, Akon was so mad that he had to throw the kid from the stage. It's basically the equivalent of chucking a water bottle when you're upset or like punching a wall. He really needed to take his anger out on something or someone, and he just so happened to have chosen the very person who set him off in the first place. As a result of the incident, Akon was given a $350 fine and was ordered to complete 65 hours of community service. As for the kid, I doubt he would ever throw something at someone again. At number 4, Katy Perry. We've seen a lot of videos in the past of celebrities versus the paparazzi and how their interactions can get really heated. Stars are always fighting or yelling at these aggressive photographers, and it's sometimes caught on camera. Take this one instance of Katy Perry's run-in with the paparazzi and how mad she gets at them.
Don't you know anything about paparazzi laws, you dick? You're not supposed to do this.
Apparently in the time leading up to this clip, the paparazzi were really getting clingy and annoying around Katy, so I'm really not surprised she got as mad as she did. In the clip, you see the singer laying on her car horn, trying to get the paparazzi out of her way, and yells at them that they're not supposed to be bothering her like this and blocking her car. Almost in an effort to antagonize her, the person filming calls her crazy, but she just drives away furious. You could literally see the rage in her eyes, so obviously they had been bothering her for some time at this point. She was probably tired and wanted to go home, so this probably wasn't the way that she wanted to end her night. At number 4, Kanye West. I'm pretty sure that with all of the times Kanye has rage quitted or freaked out, there could be an entire top 10 list about the times that Kanye has gotten mad. I've included some cases in past lists, but of course, there's more. Kanye is a very passionate guy to say the least, and people are always on the lookout for another Kanye moment, so it's not surprising that there are so many to choose from. This case is a little more recent and comes from a leaked clip from an upcoming documentary about Kanye and the creation of his new album, Donda. In the clip, we see Kanye getting mad at Chance the Rapper as he's visiting Kanye at his Wyoming studio. Though it looks unprovoked, there is apparently a reason for this freakout. According to one of the people working with Kanye, things were just getting really tense in the studio that day, and Kanye was feeling overwhelmed. Because he's such an emotional person, things got to be too much for the rapper and he just went off on Chance. There was no bad blood, just tense energy, but it still makes for another Kanye freakout to add to the collection. Coming in at number 3, Will Smith. Everyone loves Will Smith. I mean, how can you not? He's funny and wholesome and just an all-around decent guy. But sometimes the love you have for Will Smith can become a little too overwhelming for both you and him. For example, let's talk about an instance from the red carpet premiere of Men in Black 3. Will was talking to a journalist on the red carpet getting interviewed as one does, and I guess the interviewer was just a little too friendly with the actor. When the journalist went in for a hug to cap off the interview, he boldly went in for a kiss. It was one of those like side kisses, like right? But like it still didn't sit well with the actor. I'm sure that he was just trying to be friendly, but Will was for sure caught off guard by his actions and actually hit the reporter in the face. I guess Will just wasn't feeling the love that day. Oh well. At number 3, Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson is probably best known for playing the character of Natasha Romanoff or Black Widow in the MCU, and if you're familiar with her character's costume, then you know that it's a skin-tight bodysuit kind of situation. Well, apparently this costume just baffles the minds of many, and a lot of people want to know if she's wearing any kind of undergarments with her supersuit. Why? I don't know. Well, since Scarlett had so many people ask her this question in the past, she was getting pretty fed up with it, so when it came to another interview when someone asked her about her underwear situation, she got upset.
Undergarments?
You're like the 5th person that's asked
Well, no,
that.
because
What is going on? Since when did people start asking each other in interviews about their underwear?
I feel like this is one of those women in Hollywood issues where a lot of people want to know what they're wearing and stuff like that. Ask about the movie, not their clothes. Why do you want to know about their clothes? Scarlett ended up answering their question by saying, quote, "I'll leave it up to your imagination," but man, she was so mad. At number 3, Kim K. Now, of course, we can't talk about Kanye without talking about Kim. Though these two stories aren't linked, you can't have one without the other, right? So recently, the world found out that Kim is related to Bob Ross. Well, not exactly, but her oldest daughter, North, is quite the artist. Kim posted a photo to her Instagram story a few weeks ago showing off one of the paintings that North had been working on for a while, and as the proud mom that she is, she had to share it with the world. When the public saw this painting, no one wanted to believe that it was really North who created it, and a lot of people and news sources started poking fun at it. Well, the claws came out and Mama Bear went to town to protect her cub. Kim shut down anyone who was speaking poorly of her daughter's art and released a statement on her Instagram story that read, quote, "Don't play with me when it comes to my children." North worked incredibly hard on her painting, which took several weeks to complete. I'm seeing op-ed pieces in the media and social media from the grown adults breaking my child down, or whether or not my child actually painted this. How dare you see children doing awesome things and then try to accuse them of not being awesome, end quote. We know that Kim will do anything to protect her kids, and that includes getting mad at some people on social media. At number 2, Mila Kunis. This next tale is one of my favorites because it's the signature "let me defend my best friend" trope, and it's hilarious. While at a press conference in Moscow, Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake were answering questions when a Russian reporter seemed to have taken her question a little bit too far. The reporter asked Justin why he was in movies, like he started off as a singer, so why did he feel the need to enter the world of acting? Mila found this to sort of be an offensive question, so she went off on the reporter. Mind you, this is all taking place in Russian, and Justin is listening to a translation of the whole thing through an earpiece. Mila answered the question by defending JT by clapping back at the woman and questioning why she's even there. It's honestly so funny, and I highly suggest you look it up for a good old "oh snap" moment. The whole ordeal ends with Justin saying, "Mila's my bodyguard," and she makes a hell of a good one too. At number 2, Oprah. I don't know Oprah to really be the type of person to get angry or upset or even flustered really, so seeing her visibly upset is actually pretty surprising. In one of the few instances that I personally have seen her mad comes from an interview where Oprah was being grilled for her weight. In a 1985 interview with Joan Rivers, Oprah was getting fat shamed left, right, and center, and it was pretty brutal to watch.
Oh yeah, I saw Nell Carter on here last night who'd lost. Yes, but you couldn't tell. She's still very chubby. She has to lose more. Don't you?
It's the uncomfortable smile and tapping for me. I mean, you can see how angry Oprah was getting at this point, and there's so much more to this interview, which shows the countless times that Oprah was being shamed and disrespected in front of an audience, no less. At times throughout this interview, she would try to explain something or deflect Joan's criticisms, but she just kept firing them. In later years, Oprah would go on to say how even 30 years later, this interview still hurts. In an interview with The Talk, Oprah said, quote, "I was 30 years old and it was the biggest moment of my life. I had made it to the Tonight Show, but essentially Joan called me fat. I was called out as being a fat girl on national TV as a surprise, and I felt immense shame about it. I could cry right now thinking about that moment," end quote. The fact that she mostly held herself together through that Joan Rivers interview is honestly astonishing to me, because if that happened to me, Joan would be catching these hands. I'm kidding, or am I? At number 2, Barack Obama. Barack Obama is the GOAT, and there's nothing that you could ever say to change my mind. I look up to this man, and I will for the rest of my life. Recently, he was on an episode of the Bruce Springsteen podcast, Renegades Born in America, where he opened up about racism that he had experienced as a kid. The former president then told a story about how he was called a racial slur while playing basketball with a friend. This friend got mad while playing, probably just because of the tense game, and uttered a slur. The young Obama knew that his friend just said this because he knew this word would hurt him, and so without thinking twice, Lil Obama punched his friend in the face. He didn't even realize what he had done until afterwards, but he was so mad about the word that just exited his friend's mouth that he just blacked out and punched the guy. I've never really heard of Obama getting mad until then, so that was pretty surprising and definitely deserves to be on this list. Finally, at number 1, Billie Joe Armstrong. I'm capping this video off with an instance of a full-blown meltdown. Billie Joe isn't just mad in this one, oh no, he's downright fuming. In 2012, Green Day was performing at the iHeartRadio Music Festival and things got heated. According to the band's frontrunner, the show's producers had allegedly cut the band's time down from 45 minutes to just 25. This obviously didn't sit well with him, and as he watched the timer go down as the band performed, that just made him angry to the point where he sort of threw a tantrum when the band was down to its last minute of time. Billy kept shouting 1 minute left over and over again, and went on to say that he's been around since '88, hinting that since he's been around for so long that he deserves more respect. Then, in a fit of rage, he took his guitar by the neck and began smashing it on the stage until it broke. He then threw his mic and stormed off stage. There are those who believe that his tantrum was just a bit, and others think that it was real, but bottom line here is that it was totally shocking. And finally, at number 1, Cardi B. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Cardi B and know that she has a bit of a temper. She's gotten into fights before and is no stranger to rage quitting from time to time. Some of the most entertaining Cardi rage moments come from her time on reality TV and her run on Love and Hip Hop. During a Love and Hip Hop reunion, Cardi got into a heated argument with former co-star Asia over a texting scandal. Basically, the gist is that Asia was texting someone that Cardi had been flirting with, and that just didn't sit right with her. There were also some other accusations like Cardi thought Asia was jealous of her and blah 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 drama. But the bottom line here is that they didn't like each other and that they were fighting. This argument led to Cardi throwing a shoe at Asia.
What's the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I just explained the reason.
What was the reason, bitch?
I don't need to explain myself to you.
Talking about Cardi in his text, what happened?
It all happened so fast it was crazy, but hey, this was reality TV and you need to spice things up, and if that means you gotta throw a shoe, then you gotta throw a shoe. And finally, at number 1, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise isn't the most loved person in Hollywood, but not the most hated either. He doesn't really make waves in the tabloids anymore, so when he does, you know something serious went down. Well, his time in the news came just a few months ago when Tom faced backlash for going on an angry rant about COVID safety in the workplace. Tom had been working on filming a new movie, and because of the pandemic, things are obviously more tense as COVID protocols must be followed. Well, Tom caught wind of some rule breaking on set, and he had some words to share with the cast and crew when he found out.
We are creating thousands of jobs, you I don't ever want to see it again! Ever! And if you don't do it, you're fired! And I see you do it again, you're on.
Tom was furious that people weren't taking safety measures seriously and even threatened to have people fired if they broke the rules again. Actually, 5 people actually left the production after this rant, so maybe Tom was actually a little more aggressive than we thought. They've since wrapped on the film, so I guess things are okay now, but what do you think? Was the rant warranted or did he go too far?